Good morning, welcome to Hoovies Garage, and today we are buying the cheapest San Francisco trolley in the USA. Not really, actually. I am at a beautiful hotel, the Mark Hopkins Hotel. It's one of the hotels featured in Bullitt, the Steve McQueen movie, but I am not taking the delivery of a Highland Green 68 Mustang. It is green though. You know, green's my favorite color, and the car's green. And this kind of keeps up with my tradition of buying a car for Monterey Car Week. Normally I would buy a Hoopty, and that was the plan until I got an email. It was an email from somebody interested in my Viper. Oh, another trolley. It was an email from somebody wanting to buy my Viper, but he had just missed it. I've sold my Viper, my American muscle car, but this guy had some American muscle that he wanted to trade, and it was so cool I had to inquire about buying it, and I had no idea the guy was in San Francisco and that he could deliver the car to me. And there it is, coming in hot.
I can rent it.
1992 GMC TYPHOON. Look at it. Well, it's teal. It's not green. It's teal. And this is a factory color, one of 135 apparently, of teal, bright teal TYPHOON. This is beautiful condition. Well, now we got to get on the road to Monterey. Anne's come along.
Hi.
We're gonna get to Monterey. Hopefully we don't have any problems, because it broke the moment that I touched it when I was looking at the car yesterday. So hopefully there's not more. For those of you that have no idea what I just bought, I'll explain it all later. I need to get out of San Francisco first, but here's a little hint. Turbo. So my TYPHOON made it to Monterey without a single issue, other than the issue that happened right when I first touched the car when I first saw it. And look at my digs. I've come a long way from 2 years ago coming to Monterey Car Week and sleeping in a garden shed that someone was renting out on Airbnb. I actually rented this place with a bunch of friends, and it's a big farmhouse on 55 acres, and it's just a mile away from Laguna Seca, where the Monterey Historics are going on. That's where we're going to go later. And actually from here I can hear the cars racing up in the hills, but before we go there, let me tell you about why this TYPHOON is so special. So you all know I have a weird fixation on 90s General Motors products, even though it's widely considered to be not the best era for General Motors, but there are a few exceptions, like my Buick Park Avenue Ultra, the perfect convergence between old school luxury and new modern conveniences and technology put together in a car. Love that car. Also, I had a Grand Am ASC McLaren Turbo that was a hoot. It looked really cool, but it wasn't all that fast. But this is the TYPHOON, and the TYPHOON was actually one of the fastest cars of its era, of its time. So just how fast was the TYPHOON? Well, in 1992, this little SUV was faster than a Ferrari 348, a BMW M3 or M5, and its own brother, the Chevrolet Corvette. And it beat the Corvette by a lot. Even by modern standards, this thing is fast. Its 0 to 60 time is somewhere around 5 seconds. So when you line it up with a lot of modern performance SUVs, this guy would still beat it. And it is a 1992. So it's faster than a lot of modern performance SUVs, but it's also the first. This car is so far ahead of its time in 1992, and despite being a really rare collectible, I bought it for only $9,500. $9,500 certainly makes it the cheapest teal TYPHOON in the USA, but probably, most certainly, not the cheapest TYPHOON in general in the USA, because there are plenty of cheap basket cases that are falling apart out there that you can get for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. But I think at $9,500 to get one in this rare teal color, it's green, only 135 made in teal, and in this condition, which it is beautiful, I think I got a steal. And as far as rare cars go, it's a deal because they only made 2,500 of these in 1992. So really this car hasn't had its day yet. Maybe it'll start going up in value while I own it. Probably not. But the one sad thing about buying this Typhoon for Monterey Car Week is they're having their first ever Radwood here, but it's German cars only because they're doing it part of a German car show. Even though this is the most rad thing probably here in Monterey right now, next to a Countach or a F50. It's teal, it's green, it has a body kit, it's lowered from the factory, but GM engineers even went further with this thing, which is why it's so dang fast. Let me pop the hood. Under the hood is the standard 4.3 liter V6 that you would have got in the Blazer or the Sonoma. But the Typhoon gets a little snail. A Mitsubishi turbo along with a Garrett intercooler. Now they rated the horsepower from the factory at 280 with these improvements, but that was probably way underrated. But putting horsepower aside, it's the torque where this turbocharged engine is at, and this Typhoon is able to put the full enchilada to the wheels because it is all-wheel drive. Yes, all-wheel drive with a little bit of bias to the rear wheels, and look at the wheels. They are big, fat, huge tires on this thing, and it does feel ridiculously fast. Those of you that have been to Monterey Car Week know that it is sensory overload. You see so many cars, so many special cars, like 3 Ferrari F50s driving in a row, that it just desensitizes you. So then when you see a normal Ferrari 458, you just don't care anymore. Same with Porsches. A Porsche GT3 RS, there's like 3 million of them here. But I think I am the only teal Typhoon here at Monterey Car Week. Probably not the only Typhoon because Clint Eastwood lives here and he is a big Typhoon enthusiast. He owns one. I'd never driven one before, but Clint Eastwood said it was his favorite car on Jimmy Fallon.
I drive a Typhoon, a GMC TYPHOON. It's actually a turbo V6. It's fast.
Yeah! Sorry, that's it. He still drives one daily to this day, so I knew it had to be good. And it is. It is so stinking fast. But look in here. It is such a throwback to 90s GM trucks. And the passenger seat was reupholstered, at least the bottom was. But the driver's is original. Look at this Typhoon logo. But otherwise, it is very GM truck of the day, which I love. And let me demonstrate to you how I broke this thing within seconds of sitting in it. I got inside, I turned the key. Listen to those noises. Sounds like an old GM truck. I went to turn on the air conditioning like this, and it broke. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You can hear the vacuum pods opening, but something here has come apart to where it won't turn on the climate control, so I don't have air conditioning. And normally that wouldn't be an issue for Monterey Car Week because it's nice and cool and mild here, but the last 2 days have been the hottest for a car week that I've ever been to. And I brought my wife, who also likes air conditioning a lot, and she was not too happy with me. But otherwise, this thing has been totally reliable and has gotten me around. You can hear the air pump going. That's because this thing has air suspension, like out of my old Buick Park Avenue, rear load leveling suspension. It rides so good. These seats, these bucket seats, are so comfortable. But the real party trick of the Typhoon is how insanely fast it feels, thanks to that turbo. See the little gauge right there. Leaving the farm in my GM pickup. This is so perfect. Wait for the gate to open. Actually, the Typhoon was the follow-up to the real pickup truck version, the Cyclone, that was even faster because it was lighter. It was in a pickup truck. Jay Leno has one of those, did a video on it years ago. Bought it new. As soon as there's an opening here, a lot of traffic, but I can get right into traffic. This thing with the boost, when you power brake it, feels like launch control. It is insane how quick this thing launches. Unbelievable. So I've been launching it like that a lot and it hasn't broken, thank goodness. But the turbo power has been great in the hills up here in Monterey around the track, and also around 17 Mile Drive and around the car shows. We're in all these little twisty turns. It actually doesn't handle that bad. The brakes, not its strong suit, which is kind of bad considering how fast it is. All right, is he gonna let me in? We're heading into the track now. Okay. Yep, up the hills we go. It's just so ridiculous, but even when you're sitting in traffic, It feels nice and comfortable other than the lack of air conditioning because it's an old school GM product where the seats are nice and cushy. It's the perfect car. It's perfect. Why these aren't more well-known and more sought after and more valuable is beyond me. But thank goodness, because it puts it in hoopty price range territory for people. This is definitely an exotic collector car that just about anybody can buy, and you can haul the kids to school in this thing. It's perfect. So it has been so much fun driving this thing around Monterey, going to the car shows, parking this thing on golf courses, and getting the obligatory beauty shot of this thing on the golf courses, as well as 17-mile drive, which is such a pretty stretch of road. It's been the perfect vehicle for this occasion, and I don't want to let it go. Since the air conditioning doesn't work, I'm not going to drive it across the South cross-country home, even though it would probably make it. I don't see why not. I'm going to ship it home, and I'm going to miss it until it shows up back in Wichita. The Typhoon! Thank you for watching.